Hey everybody, Dr. Plasma here. Today I want to talk about lighting in Minecraft. It is one of the most underused blocks in the newest updates ever since it came out, and I think I should show you how I've used it already and give you some tips on how to use it best. Let there be light. So as you can see, I've actually used light in a considerable amount of places in this build, and if I didn't, it would look terrible. And so let's go ahead and take a look at it without shaders. So I'm going to go and turn off my shaders. And so as you can see, this is what it would look like in a truly vanilla world. But the thing is, without these, it's incredibly dark. And so if I go through, you might notice that it's already starting to get awfully dark in here where there is no light. It doesn't look nearly as good. And when you're using shaders to do beautiful recordings, there's just a lot of good places and times to use them. So to give them to yourself, just do /give yourself light. And that will give you a light block. And to place them, yeah, they act like barrier blocks, only you can only interact with them whenever you're holding one in your hand. And if you right-click them, they go to 0. Now give it a chance for the particle to update. That's a weird quirk of them. But every time you click it, if I go 1, 2, 3, now it's going to be 3 when it clears. And so that'll be a lighting of 3. So that gives you the ability to control what brightness of light you want. So I'm going to turn off shaders real quick, and we're going to see what a vast difference it is between the two. You can see that the problem with not having light is even more pronounced. And so it's day and night, no pun intended, the difference between where you have them and where you don't. And you might gather a little bit about the proper way to use them based on what I've done here already. See how dark this is? And it's simply because we use the distance from a light source to calculate lighting instead of having it project its light. So what you want to do is whenever you have lighting in a creative build that's up on the ceiling, directly underneath that is where you want to place your lighting, like this. And my recommendation is that on dark surfaces, just go ahead and use a 15. You don't have to fiddle with going to 0 and then trying to dial in your light to the amount of brightness you want. Instead, if it's too bright, and it will be too bright on lighter surfaces, what you can do is you can stack them up like this. Hold shift to shift click it. And what you can do is try to have one of the upper ones, so maybe a 1 block gap between it and the floor, and it will actually look a lot better. And so that will look much more natural. Next, I want to show you a cool trick you can do with lighting. First, I'm going to do a demonstration. So let's say we wanted to make this brighter. This clock is just a little bit too dark in this area. So we wouldn't want to put a light here or here because it's just too bright that it kind of stands out. There's no light source there. It doesn't make any sense. But if we put one in front of it like this, so that's a 1 block away from the wall, so there's a 1 block gap, you'll see that it kind of looks a little bit better. And if you're worried about the lighting in between potential light sources, you can always go and put one, say we put one right here. And so now the lighting for this little section is a little bit better. So let's say we had this lighting was supposed to reach over here, but didn't reach as far as we kind of would like it to. I could put a light source here, and you can see that it looks a lot more subtle. It's not as pronounced. It's not as strong. So there. So just by placing those two diagonally from each other, now they're gone, or now they're invisible. They're right here. But see, now the wall just looks much better, like it's being lit from that the way we expect it to. So definitely recommend that. So let's go outside, and I'm going to show you a cool thing you can do with lighting. So here we are outside in one of the gardens, and I can do something very simple, which is to try and improve the lighting of the gardens by adding light source blocks. Maybe I want to put them somewhere where they're not quite as, where they don't stand out quite as much. And so essentially what that would mean is I would want to have kind of a 1 block gap between them and other things, maybe a 2 block gap. And so you can kind of create ambience, almost like there's lighting in the trees here. So I don't want to place them too closely. But just kind of gives a better vibe. And with this way, on your creative builds, you can make them so they just light up at night naturally. Wait for them to go away. And so there is no light source. It's just better looking. And so things just look better over here around this tree. You see that? And so not only can you do that, you can also have some fun with it. So over here I have a command block and I put a command in it. So in this command block is a command to just place light wherever I go. And so this is a fun toy to play with your friends at night. If I just make a light source appear wherever I am, I can run around and look at that. I leave trails of light wherever I go. You could leave like paths made out of light that only show up at night. So you can kind of see where I'm wandering. Kind of a neat thing to do. You might notice I didn't turn off the command block output, but that's all you've got to do. So now it actually looks really cool in here. I kind of like it. I might actually keep it this way. So that's all I got for today. Thought that was helpful. Subscribe if you haven't. Always going to be doing more things like this. This is a neat way to have fun with light and get used to using it. It came out in 1.17. It's a fairly new block, and not a lot of people use it, and it has a lot of potential in creative builds. So start using it. That's all my PSA is for today. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Have a good day. Dr. Plasma out.